is Brittany. So, I'm sorry for using this lighting at the moment, but this is the only lighting I can use right now since it was uh, getting dark and cloudy. Having strong winds at the moment, but today is gonna be a popcorn chat video on the Lost World Jurassic Park. So, so the Lost World Jurassic Park was released in theaters, um, in May, on Memorial Day in 1997, and I just want to say that this is actually, I would say, a good sequel to Jurassic Park, and although I do really like it, um, but I love the first one more. But, nonetheless, it's still a good sequel to the first, and, um, I just love the cast and I enjoy their performances and, even the music. The music is, great, and, of course, this one I would say is just a little bit more it just has a little bit more of a darker tone than the first. Although I think Jurassic Park itself has its own somewhat dark tone. Maybe not as much as the book, but it does have that in its own way. And this one just has a little bit more of the dark tone of the sequel. And it just shows where the dinosaurs are just, loose on this island, and of course, there are these people hunting after these dinosaurs for what reason? I think it was. I'm not sure if it was to like put them in cages. I actually forgot what the reason was. I mean, it's been a while since I've seen it, but I forgot what the reason was why they were doing that. Maybe to, oh, I think that's what it was. It was John Hammond's nephew. I think wanted to, I think build like another Jurassic Park that his uncle did, and that's why they were going after them to not only capture them, but to, because yeah, he had what he had in mind was to build like this other, like like a different type of a Jurassic Park, like I said, of what his uncle did, but he put it in a way kind of like a zoo, um, where people could just, I think, go in. I think I forgot how he put it, but it's mostly just that. So he had that idea himself, so it was just like uh yeah, not good. And so I'm not sure if John Hammond knew what his nephew was up to or not, but even if he knew what he was up to, would he try to do anything to stop him? Maybe, possibly, I'm not sure. But this is why, yeah, I think he probably knew. I think so. Um, but, uh, but yeah, that's why when Ian Malcolm goes over there, he only went over there to pretty much save his girlfriend, Sarah, because she is like looking out for these dinosaurs. Because, of course, she's not part of what these other people were doing. But so yeah, he pretty much went over there to much save her and to get her out of there. But of course, things take a different turn. So of course, they pretty much end up staying there. But of course, things don't go as planned for John Hammond's nephew. The way the pretty much how he wanted things to be would not turn out that way. And plus, so like I said, I just like this different take of the story of the sequel. And of course, I love the cast. I love that Jeff Goldblum um, came back and played Ian Malcolm, and um, we get these other great actors as well. You know, this great cast, and now of course, um, you know, when we do see the dinosaurs, and of course the two adult T Rexes. Now, of course, what I thought, I think at the time when I was quite little, I thought somehow, uh, you know, Rexy from the first one was in there, but you know, I came to realize no, that's not her because you know she has a different color to her, you know, like the like the like the skin color she has on her is different. It's more like this brown, like it's like you get these different tones of brown, like of dark and light. So it just, you know, that suited her well. And so yeah, with these T Rexes, they had more like a dark light green to them, like dark, like like I said, they had different tones of green on them, and of course, now you can tell, because it shows you like which one's the male T Rex, which one's the female, and of course, I gotta say the baby T Rex is just so cute. It is. It really is. And of course, the baby Stegosaurus as well. Um, so yeah, I loved how the animatronics looked, and this one was, of course, still looked realistic of these dinosaurs, and it's just amazing. And so yes, like I said, I like the story of how it just went in a different direction in the sequel from the first, and how we get these other actors, but we do get Jeff Goldblum back in this one, and of course I love the music composed by John Williams. He is a great music composer, and this just really set the movie, you know, with the story, like, it's just great. And and so yes, also again love the animatronics, the way they looked and everything. And of course there are some scenes where of course it did went a little bit dark than the first. um I would say the one scene that probably scared me um when I was quite little is when they were running from the T-Rex, and they were heading to this waterfall, but there's like this space inside, so they pretty much had to stay safe in there. You know, they had to, I think, hide in there. But the thing is, the T-Rex, I think this was the female T-Rex, if I'm right, because it was the male. Because the male T-Rex was actually out, I think, eating, and the one who wanted the male T-Rex uh, shot it with a arrow, I think, to put it to sleep. Yes, I think it was the female T-Rex that puts its head right through the waterfall, and that's the only thing you see. It's its head. I think that's the only thing that scared me because, of course, it was like so up close. Um, and I I think I can imagine how scary that would be if you're hiding in something and all of a sudden you see this big T-Rex head right in front of you, and its mouth is opening, you know, trying to grab a hold of you, trying to, you know, eat you. So yeah, that did scare me. But of course, as I got older, I mean, I would say it's still scary, though. But although it, you know, it doesn't scare me as much as before. But yeah, and of course, I do like the scene where I think this was correct me if I'm wrong. I think this is the male T-Rex where he breaks loose and he's going through the city of San Diego. Yep. Yeah, I think that's it. And I'm sorry if you hear that sound. That's the chair I'm sitting on. So yeah. Um but yeah, I actually like that. I do. I like that scene, and knowing how crazy it got, it was just like, oh wow. um but yeah, I do enjoy this. This is a good sequel. Um and so yeah, I would definitely say I liked how when the when the male T-Rex is pretty much causing trouble in San Diego, and then by the time he hears the baby T-Rex, then he's like okay, like I know you have my baby, and he's like full in, you know like daddy mode, like protective, and he's like, bring back my baby. And of course, the same thing that goes for the mother as well, because I think both the mom and dad would both be very protective. So that's what he was doing. Because yeah, I think the female T-Rex, she stayed on the island, and it was the male T-Rex that was on the loose in San Diego. So yeah. Mhm. But yeah, that's just quite interesting. So, like I said, I do like how this took on a different take from the first, where it's not on the island. Well, I mean, it does take place on the island, but not the same island. It's a different island. So, and that's okay. And yeah, so I just really liked how it turned out. And like I said, yeah, that this is just still a good sequel to the first. And yeah, now although I would say maybe this one could have been maybe a little bit more intense and maybe a little bit more scary, but at the same time, I think it still turned out good. You know, it did. So yeah, so that's it for this popcorn chat on the Lost World Jurassic Park. So yes, like I said, I like everything about it. The cast, the story, how it took a different direction, the performances, the music, and the dinosaur animatronics that looked great, and just even certain scenes that I liked, which I thought were also good. But I think there, of course, were some. I think maybe one that I thought, that didn't really have to be in there, But other than that, the rest still turned out really good. You know, no, it passed. Okay, I felt like I had sneezed, so anyway, so yes, I like everything about the Lost World Jurassic Park, and yeah, it is still a good sequel, and it's just one of those movies where I would still watch, you know, again and again. So I hope you enjoyed this, and yeah, that's all. Oh, and so yeah, so for more movie content, uh, yeah, so for more movie content, reactions, and dreams, subscribe and click on the bell so you'll be notified when I upload. That's all for today, and I'll see you at the movies.